Folks, I would like to document and communicate to you set of capabilities that I found in myself. Um, I'm sure that you can also find that to some extent in your day-to-day experience. But the observations are facts of my existence, my experiences in all the four states of existence, that is, waking state, dream state, deep sleep, and there's the fourth state, Turiya state. I deleted an earlier video because there I was talking too many things. Probably it might have confused you. So I want to focus on one or two things in each video and document them. Today, I would like to focus on one aspect of my existence. That is the ability to zoom in and zoom out. Um, Let me explain this, or describe this, or discuss this, elaborate, and so on from your normal day-to-day experience. Then I will document, or I will talk about my larger experience. For example, when you watch a movie, you are perhaps, for example, sitting in a sofa and there is a TV in front of you, there's a movie going on, and then you sometimes watch so intensely in a character. If you are a woman, the heroine, or if you are a man, the hero, or whatever be your favorite character there in the movie, and you are totally immersed, you're totally one with that character. What happens is you will forget that you have been sitting in the sofa and there's a TV that you're watching, etc. This is a zooming in aspect. I'm sure you would have experienced this. And also another common experience is, for example, suppose you um, watch through an instrument, let's say a microscope or a camera lens. Let's take this microscope. When you watch through the microscope, the world appears, or the thing that appears to you is very different. A lot of molecules floating around and so on. When you are watching those molecules intensely, you forget that you have a normal human eye, and then you have, in addition, in front of the eye is this the eye of this microscope, and because you have zoomed in to what is happening in the in what you see through the microscope. For example, all those molecules flying around. Now, these two are common experiences of human beings. Now, with this perspective, listen to my experiences, so-called spiritual experiences. Um, I will give only two of them. You can see more of them in earlier videos. One is this, when I was sitting in a sofa, this happened almost like maybe 30 years back when I was in New Jersey. I was sitting in a sofa. Suddenly, my mind was arrested, and there is darkness everywhere. And then I see a forest, and I see also a small statue, looks like a woman idol that you see in some of the Hindu temples. That idol was buried inside the ground. And I go inside the ground and I see that, and then I don't go inside the ground, but I see that um, idol in the inside the ground. And suddenly something from my forehead. But at that point, my only feeling or only experience is not on my body, it is just only the foreground, the forehead between the eyebrows. And something comes out from there and then goes and touches that idol. And I seem to be going with it, one with that flow and touching that. As soon as I touch that, I feel that that's me. This is the zooming in aspect of one of my Turiya state spiritual experience. Of course, later I learned that it is a symbol of the earth consciousness, or what Hindus call Parvati and so on, or Puma Devi. Another experience is that I already talked to you about them several times, that there is darkness. And when I look at the darkness, these three united heads, so just heads, appear in front of me, and I focus on the central head. Then there is this golden light coming from my forehead and touching that central head, and it becomes a beautiful face of a lovely woman. Then this is the zooming in aspect. Then suddenly I go and merge with that one. Then I become the one with the 5 snakes on top of my head. This is again the zooming in. I was watching the whole thing. I was observing or witnessing the whole thing, the three heads, and also the central head becoming a lovely woman's face. Then I'm going inside and becoming one with it, or totally immersed in that, whatever you want to call. Then the whole thing changes, the whole vision changes. That I become I see darkness everywhere and me, and then there's five snakes on top of me. This is a second example of the zooming in aspect of my spiritual experiences. Let me now talk about the zooming out. Um, when I went to Venkatachalamati temple in New Jersey several years back, maybe about 30 years back, along with my wife, there was a Muruga or Kartikeya statue. I stand before that statue and try to worship that, folding my hands. At that time, I used to worship, but not the way that everybody does, but in a different way. I don't want to go into that now. You can watch my earlier videos about that description. And suddenly, I see a white light behind me coming from somewhere up and falling on the whole of my body. And what really happened is that I zoomed out. That is, I my I the fact that I was in that body worshipping that Muruga statue. Then I zoomed out and then seemed to see something going on around. Of course, the temple has vanished, only this vision was present. This is some of the folks documented their experiences. This is like a 360-degree vision. But the way that I experienced this is that I zoomed out. But at that time, I was not thinking that I'm zooming out. But now, when I think about that, it looks like I zoomed out. And I became I came all the way out, and then I'm seeing this white light and this me worshipping the Muruga statue. Another instance of this zooming out is I was in a group meeting and some folks were singing and so on. It's again about 30-40 years back, New Jersey. Suddenly I see at the back of my head some waves of red light, exactly the same way that you see in Nataraja statue when he does this dance. The waves that they depict from the behind to the side, and that was the red color. And that was behind me, who was sitting in that group. But I looks like I zoomed out and I saw this person sitting in front of me, which is me, and the waves of red appearing at the back of this person's head. This is again another instance of the zooming out. The one which I'm going to now say, it may be very startling to you, some of you at least. That, for example, when I am in the person's body who is giving or who is recording this video, I look out at the sky, at the universe, etc. It looks so huge, infinite. Then I zoom out, zooming out and out and out all the way, it becomes finite. It appears to me as a big bubble. And this is one of my experiences, spiritual experiences, which I documented earlier. And then there is somebody watching this whole bubble. And I say that I am feeling that it is a bubble, and inside the bubble I see this statue of Indian goddess and a prince, etc. But when I go inside that, I forget that the whole thing is a bubble. The boundary of the bubble I forget. I see only those statue and the prince, like person. And not only that, not only I was able to go inside the bubble, and then and also outside the bubble, feeling that it is a bubble, whole world is a bubble, a finite one. And I'm also able to witness the one witnessing this bubble. That's at the back. So the point, that observation that I would like to bring out and emphasize today is this world appears to be in the waking state infinite, but when I zoom out, that becomes a finite one. This is again the zooming out aspect of my spiritual experiences. Obviously, this is something to do with the space, because talking about the space, I see in another spiritual experience this eternal darkness, and then I'm one with this eternal darkness, and I see a pair of entities. They didn't have any bodies, entities, and I go and merge with one of them. That becomes a witness, and then immediately I see another witnessed, and that's what was saying that I'm a being, non-being, etc. This is again another zooming in aspect of my experiences. So the whole thing seems to be appearing inside. I don't know what you call it, what we can call it, inside me, and me watching the whole thing. It's all dark. Within the dark, everything appears and disappears. All this Shiva experience, Maheshwara experience, that I'm walk, I'm daughter experience, I'm everywhere experience, etc. appearing everything inside that darkness. And also, I see the human beings being born, dying, disappearing, everything that is appearing within that darkness. So that's what I would like to record and communicate to you folks. In short, there is a zooming and zooming out capability, and also going from infinite to finite. The same thing appearing as infinite and then appearing as finite. And the third thing is that everything is enclosed in this eternal darkness. And within that darkness, there's all this creation of gods and and then appearance and disappearance of all the human beings, etc. That's what I want to communicate to you folks today. I'll talk about another aspect of my spiritual experience in another video. My goal is to document um, all these observations so that you can analyze, look at, or whatever you want to do with that. Talk to you folks soon.